Have you learned, in the course of putting this together, have you learned some things about how to do this kind of rural-based business? Anything you'd pass on to the graduates of Gustavus who might want to try this? If you had any surprises is partly the question.
Yeah, lots. I guess I'm just trying to put it into words.
Yeah. I mean, I think in some ways, not that we're very proud of where we are living and our family farm and our background, but at the same time, I think anyway, the images that are conveyed on our websites about our businesses and our photographs perhaps of our products, you don't necessarily equate that with maybe someone who's living in quite a rural area, and so there's a bit of a, I don't know what the word is, quite a contrast maybe between people maybe wouldn't imagine the little white, old farmhouse with character that we're living in, and the, kind of the look or the feel of the toys or this specialty culinary oil coming out of it. So I think in as much as you should be proud to tell your story and about where you're at and, working in and contributing to rural economies, at the same time you need to take advantage and make the most of just presenting yourself in a professional manner, and show people that you're really good at what you do.
And I guess I would say you have to be willing to work for free for a little while.
Yeah.
And that's something that's sort of a pill that's pretty tough to swallow. But it's true, and that's not necessarily a freedom that some people have. But I think that that's something that we learn that you kind of have to do. You have to be willing to work for more or less for free for a while, just to be able to get yourself and your business up off the ground, because it's not going to pay immediately. And I guess you also just have to be really willing to see the big picture and to see longer term, because you're not going to be getting a paycheck every week. You're not going to be getting a regular paycheck, and so it's not the same as it is working a 9-to-5 job. But I think a lot of those things that you give up, as far as the regularity of a 9-to-5 job, I think you make up for just in the quality of life that you can get around here, just being your own boss and determining your own schedule and that kind of thing. And so I guess that's kind of would be my biggest.
And as you're saying that too, I think one thing that comes to mind is, being creative is just a necessity for any small business owner. But I found, having grown up here, I think that when I moved back, somewhat in my mind, I was pretty sure that I knew everyone who was living here and I knew exactly what everyone was doing, and I'm happy to say I was quite wrong in that way. So there's a lot of options, I think, in terms of partnerships, working with different suppliers or vendors that are around here that you might not know of, when you first settle to a rural area like this. So certainly taking advantage of those opportunities, but at the same time, realistically, you need to get your feelers out, and you are going to have to be partnering and working with people who are hundreds of miles or several states away or other countries. So I think there's a challenge, but also a great opportunity for rural, your close local connections and partnerships, but also at the same time reaching out and taking what it is you need from kind of outside regions as well.
And then just the physical space. As far as what we do in our toy business, just having enough space to be able to do it, just physical space, is something that is much harder to come by living in an urban or suburban area. And so that's something that we literally would not be able to do if we lived in an urban area, just because we wouldn't be able to afford the space. And then of course we would just, considering the higher cost of living, we probably wouldn't be able to make ends meet doing what we're now doing if we were living in an urban area. Whereas here we are able to make it work because it's a lower cost of living, and we have the resources locally to be able to do it, and we have the infrastructure. And so I think, just speaking of opportunity and adding on to what Kathy said, I think there really is a lot of opportunity in a rural area for people to start small businesses, because you have a chance to give yourself a bit more flexibility financially, because you're not spending as much money on your cost of living, and so you can put that money towards starting a business, and I think that's something that really inhibits people, at least as far as the startup goes, is they don't necessarily have the time and the money to do it, and so I think moving to a rural area really frees up both of those things really, really well.